Welcome to the Sportswoman Live. I'm Gwenna.
And I'm Tony, and today we are going to cover some sports news from the world of women's sports.
All right, cool. Let's get into it. So first up, we have the U.S. Women's National Team friendly against Netherlands that took place last Friday.
Yeah, this was a great game. We were super excited to watch this. It's the first time they've played, like we said last week, in hundreds of days, the longest that they haven't played. And once again, they won.
Yeah, we had two awesome goals, so we were going to show the goals. So this first one was from Rose Lavelle, who's one of my favorite players in the U.S. national team, maybe my favorite.
Yeah, Rose is, we both are real big fans of Rose.
And Rose is in the top of the screen here. She just got the ball. Beautiful goal.
Yeah. Huge goal. Really hyped the team up. I think they went into the second half with a lot more energy from that goal. And it was a nice sort of flashback to the World Cup.
Yeah, and this is particularly cool because she scored the second goal in the World Cup, and it looked awfully similar to the one the other night. This video is not the best quality, but doing the trick.
She has the ball again. She's like so good at breakaways.
Yeah, she just is like crazy fast and super good footwork, and she's super fun to watch. And then the second goal in the game was just as cool of a story. So this was a goal from Christy Mewis, whose younger sister Sam Mewis plays in the national team, and this was her first call up in since 2014.
Yeah,
so
her
in
first call up in 6 years.
6 years, she showed up and 30 seconds later did that.
Yeah, right off the bench, came in, scored their second goal. I think the whole team was really excited from her. It's really rare for a player to come back after that long of not playing on the national team. So her past few years with the Houston Dash have really paid off, and I'm hoping that we see her in the Olympics or on future national team squads, just because I think she's worked really hard. She's like a fun personality, and I think brings some good energy.
Yeah, totally. It's fun to see both of the Mewis sisters out there, so hopefully she is here to stay.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's really fun to watch the sisters.
All right, cool. So that's the big news from the Netherlands over the weekend. But there is some more cool news in the soccer world. So last week, or maybe 10 days ago, PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, beat Lyon in the French Women's Soccer League. And the reason this is a big deal is Lyon has been the women's soccer team for the past decade almost. They haven't lost a French women's game in 4 years, over 80 games, and this is the first time they've lost to another French side.
That's a incredible streak.
Yeah, and an incredible streak. So here's the winning PSG goal. It's also a really nice goal. And cool to see that they were getting a little more parity in women's sports, and that PSG is finally putting some time and money into their women's team, and it's really paying off. Because that's why Lyon was so successful for this many years, is because they actually treated their women's team like their men's team. So it's interesting to starting to see the results of that happening at other clubs around the world.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some French rivalries too.
And then speaking of Lyon, some bad news for them. One of their star players, Wendy Renard, is potentially moving to the OL Reign, who were recently bought by the same group that owns Lyon, the OL group. So super good for us here in America. Maybe not so great for this potential Lyon collapse that might be incoming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could be the start of hopefully some more European players coming over here to the NWSL, because the recent trend hasn't been so great with American players going to Europe. So it might be cool to see things start to go both ways.
Right, yeah. We've seen a bunch of the U.S. players go overseas to play, and not as many are coming over here. So it'll be good to get a little bit more of that back and forth. I think that makes the teams and women's soccer on a global level much more competitive.
Yeah, totally. Cool. I think that's about it for soccer news. Any more comments on soccer stuff?
No. I want
right,
more
cool.
soccer. It's not the soccer season.
Yeah, we're trying out a new format with lots of tabs, so we're going with the quick hitters here. All right, so we're gonna move into college basketball. So the college basketball season started last week. The biggest story for me here is that the college basketball season is happening at all. But the biggest story within college basketball is this is the debut season of Paige Bueckers.
I think
Bueckers?
I think it's Bueckers.
Paige Bueckers, who's like a high school phenom and like social media star. She's known for putting together these sort of incredible workout and game mixtapes where you can just see her like crazy handles. She has like crazy handles. She's a super good scorer. She has like elite passing. And she's now at UConn. So this was going to be the debut of Paige Bueckers at UConn. However, UConn ran into some COVID trouble and had to postpone the entire start of their NCAA season. So this is sort of what I was talking about. I can't believe college basketball is happening this year. I can't believe any college sports are happening this year.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. Just as an admin at a college, it's just crazy that there's other schools out there like
run things remotely.
pulling sports off. So I think I'm curious to see how the season goes. I hope it generally goes well for them because this is like their path to professional sports and there's like a lot of implications here. But I think this is going to be the start of a lot of stuff like this. But they're still going forward with the season, and there's like a couple of different places that are doing ranks of who's looking the best this year. I like this ranking from The Athletic, which has South Carolina up top. What are you laughing about?
Nothing.
And they've already started to have a really strong season. They won last week. My computer's having a hard time loading. 119. They won their debut game 119-38. So they're probably
this is a rough.
Yikes.
Rough game. I feel like I've played obviously not in college, but I've played basketball games where the score is this, and it's no fun.
Yeah. So this probably speaks to what Don Staley's South Carolina team is gonna look like this year. But yeah, the sportswoman vote is wide open now that Sabrina Ionescu is in the WNBA, so we're gonna have to figure out who we want to root for this year. I might go South Carolina.
I don't know if I have a team yet.
No team yet?
No.
All right, so Tony
I have no takes today. No takes, no teams.
NCAA teams, Tony's wide open in terms of finding your vote.
Maybe I'll vote for the Charleston Cougars.
Yeah.
They got destroyed, and I want to see them win any game.
All right. Last but not least is a big story in the women's sports world. It's loading again. Sarah Fuller was the first woman to take the field in a I guess they call it Power 5 football game.
Yeah, these leagues are really confusing. It's sort of like I couldn't keep track of. I was like, I think I've seen women kickers before.
Yeah, so this is a picture of all of the women kickers, I think, that have kicked in NCAA football. So there's been 3 so far, and Sarah Fuller is the first to be in one of the major conferences. So she kicked for Vanderbilt, which is in the SEC. So that's like, I think she was the first like major conference kicker to take the field. And she kicked off on Friday. I thought this was the video.
One thing that is a bummer, sort of, going back to our last article, she's the kicker right now, not because she was like selected to be the kicker, but she's here similarly because of COVID. So I think their other kicker was out, and she was called up to help the team out.
Yeah, so this goes back to our overarching question: why are college sports happening? How are college sports happening? I think that the thing that needs to happen here is to acknowledge that these are basically professional athletes. And we're treating them as such, and they're getting the COVID treatment as such. So hopefully this, much like this led to a great progressive moment in sports for Sarah Fuller. Hopefully this leads to some bigger changes for the NCAA moving forward.
Yeah, I saw another tweet. I don't think we have it pulled up, but of like a script or it was like a screenshot of something she had said to a team that she like gave like a halftime speech about how like disappointed in the team she was, and I think it was like a big moment for the team because she sort of showed up and told them like, hey, you guys are playing like crap, like we have to step it up, and usually the regular team members don't even do that. So it was sort of sounded like a really cool moment for her to sort of try to lead the team a bit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. I think that's all the news we have for today.
There's one more.
There's one more?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
There's more basketball.
We have a quick preview for our next issue of the Sportswoman. European basketball is back, so every year after the WNBA season, a lot of players go overseas to play basketball and make a lot of money. And this year there is a super team in Russia, the UMMC Ekaterinburg team, which, as you can see in these photos, has Courtney Vandersloot, Brittany Stewart, or Brianna Stewart, Allie Quigley, Jonquil Jones. I think Brittany Griner, that's where the Brittany came from, is supposed to be joining this team. So they started playing last week. All the games are free to watch on YouTube.
They're at weird times.
Yeah, they are at weird times because they're in Europe. But if you want to get up at 11 a.m. and watch a free basketball game.
This is like the WNBA All-Stars all on one team in some pretty awesome uniforms.
Yes. And we're going to have more on this the next Sportswoman Live.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, that's the top sports news from us. As a reminder, you can subscribe to our newsletter. I just realized I never changed the crayons at the bottom for the other one.
I didn't know how to bring it up.
We're still figuring this out. But thanks for watching some of our test runs here.
Yeah.
And
we'll get better at this.
And we'll be back with more women's sports news soon.
All right. See ya.
Thanks so much.